Sounds of the Valley is sponsored by the Huntsville Symphony Orchestra.
Welcome in, and right now we're shining a spotlight on a huge yearly event that brings in thousands of music lovers from all over the country to see the baddest HBCU marching bands in the land go head-to-head to see who's really the top dog on the turf. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the National Battle of the Bands, chatting with someone who knows all about putting on the show, Vice President of Operations for Battle of the Bands, Mr. Reggie Scott. That's not his only title either. He's also the executive producer of a film that highlights all things Battle of the Bands. Reggie, thanks so much for joining me. Now, before we dive in to all of the Battle of the Bands action, tell me a bit about how your production career began and how it led to now being the VP of Operations for such a prestigious event like this, because I know you have decades in the game.
When you say decades, that ages me just a tad bit, but it's okay. I was fortunate enough that I grew up with a supportive mother, and I was given a lot of opportunities to be in television shows and commercials and things of that nature. But my mother also made it very clear that this is nice, but education was firsthand. So I went to a lot of the art schools in New York. Being in plays and producing shows, you never know where these skill sets are going to take you.
That's amazing to hear, because I'm also a producer. So tell me more about how much work goes in just behind the scenes being able to make this project come to life.
As a producer, it takes a lot of work because you're pulling all the pieces together to make everything fit. I majored at Howard University broadcast journalism, so I came into this business with that background in terms of understanding brevity, but also being as impactful as possible from the beginning. And this event has morphed into not just a great live event, but a great showcase of historically Black colleges and universities. They have always been a hot ticket, but now they're a continuous hot ticket. People are more interested to see. Our TV show puts a spotlight on National Battle of the Bands, but also puts a spotlight on all of these different programs, both big and small, that have benefited not just the individual schools, but the students that go there and the communities by which these schools are in.
Absolutely. And like you said, it shines a spotlight on so many different schools. And of course, I can't forget to mention that Alabama A&M's Marching Maroon and White Band will be featured this year in the big event. I'm a big fan. We're kind of biased here in Huntsville, but hey, we're excited to see them be featured. So of course, lots of hometown pride here in Huntsville. Tell me more about what goes into picking these bands each year, and what's it like to be able to interact with them and see their excitement as they get closer to the event.
So I want to first say congratulations to Alabama A&M. Big fan of the band, but I've also been a big fan of its band director for many years. One of the things that I love about what he does is motivate students. I've seen him be dad. I've seen him be big brother. I have seen him be the leader, and I've also seen him how he's allowed his students through the years to also bring in their talents and to bring in their individuality, because it's not just always about you, it's about the tides that are changing. So Alabama A&M has definitely been one of those bands. In our press conference, I was talking to Mr. Wright and I said, we couldn't wait to finally get you here because we know what you're going to do. And he just chuckled. He said, well, you know what we're going to do. And I said, yeah, you're going to show the world exactly what this school can do. And that's really the template for all the schools. These schools get like 2 to 3 weeks to prep for us.
Right.
So it's a daunting feat to come into Houston to show out, as you know we like to do.
Yeah.
But to be prepared. And it's really a testament to these band directors who make their students be very prepared for our showcase.
And I love that so many people get excited about it each year. I've been personally, and it was an experience. Like I mentioned before, there's a film out that showcases Battle of the Bands in a more cinematic form. Tell me more about why you felt it was so important to bring it to life in this type of medium.
Well, television and syndicated television, like film, it reaches a really broad, wide audience. And in places like Alaska, if I'm not mistaken, has no HBCU, but they get a chance to participate and to see the culture. It highlights everything that goes on into preparing for this event, how these bands, prepare their programs, but it also gives you an insight into what the freshman band member feels, and to see and have them tell their stories about what that meant. But the number one reason that we do what we do is because of scholarship, to raise money so that these band programs can thrive. Nothing else matters. I'm thankful that we've been able to, I think we're going to be close to almost $2 million since we've been to Houston. So that's amazing.
How have you seen it just morph and grow over this past decade, and where do you hope it goes over the next decade?
I think the biggest thing about when you see events like this is the generational aspect of it. When grandmas are bringing their kids and the kids are bringing their kids, and then those kids who started with us 10 years ago who may have gone to HBCU are now bringing their children or are now part of band program. I think one of the greatest stories is when you see a band member who was a band member sophomore, junior 10 years ago, and now they're coming to the event and they're running either high school or collegiate program, band program, and they've got their kids in their hand. And that's the generational aspect that I love. For our audience, band heads is real. That band world is real, and it's massive, and it is always positive, but it's just like just one of the greater additions of our culture and one of the greatest additions to what it is for us to be able to express ourselves. I love the faces of those band members when they're walking to NRG Stadium and they see 55,000+ people looking at them. And that first glimpse is awe. The second glimpse may be a little bit fear, but then it kicks in. This is what we came to do. And then, as I said earlier, they show out. I love that. And then I love when we interview some of them afterwards, just that excitement, just that I just did something I may never ever get a chance to do again. But you just played in one of the largest football stadiums in the country, and you've impacted somebody in that audience. Somebody is going to leave there saying to themselves, I want to either donate, or I want to make sure that my kid goes to HBCU, or mommy, I want to do that.
That's amazing. Like, just kudos to the work that you and your entire team does with this, because it's amazing each year, and it brings so much joy and so much excitement. So I just want to say, truly, kudos to y'all, all the hard work that goes into it, because I know it's not easy.
Well, thank you for that. Appreciate that. You know, it's always good to hear and see your flowers, and sharing it with my team. I'll make sure I let them know that. But our proudest moment is to bring these young people to this space, to give them a first-class experience, so that when they go back, you know, they can say any and everything is possible. To see them coming into a hotel and they're looking up like, we're staying in here? What? No, we want them to be exposed to that, because these are the seeds that are planted so that when they leave, they can actually plant seeds themselves.
What is kind of the feeling, the lasting impact that you want everybody in the audience, whether it's at home or right there in the stadium, to feel when they're there?
Community. I don't even have to hesitate. Community. We are seeing and living in a space right now where that is going to become the number one focus. Just thinking about, hey, this could be a part of my community, or how can I support this community? Or, hey, I need to learn more about this community. The showcase this year is at NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas, August 23rd, but it's a full weekend of things to do. So we start on the 22nd. Come out, bring your community, because our community will be there waiting on you.